Hello everyone, this is Pendy.
And this is Paul, also known as Eastech's Twitch. Hey, what's going on over there? Are you battling a slime?
I am, and this is no ordinary slime. It's Lakichi from our live reaction of the Slime's Adventures video, episode 107 of Slime Time.
Hey everybody!
Oh yeah, I remember Slikichi's moves from the video we watched. He can be quite a powerful foe.
Oh, don't I know it?
Transform!
What the? He looks just like you now.
I mean, I guess. I think I'm more handsome. Hey, Eastex, I made you some cookies, and you look awfully stressed and sore. Let me give you a back rub.
How nice of you. Pendy, why don't you ever do this for me?
I'm not going to... Sakichi, are you trying to replace me? Nothing of the sort. Now, Eastex, why don't I get you some nice puff girls after making you some dinner?
Can't say no to that. Sorry, Pendy, but I'm dropping you off at Luita's bar. You can hang out there for a while.
No! You can't do this to me. I created this show.
Sorry, dude. I'll come back and get you later. Maybe. And now that I've chosen my party wisely, I'll welcome everyone to Alltrades DQ Media Abbey, a Slime Time podcast spinoff where we review various Dragon Quest media, including manga and anime.
We are currently reviewing a Dragon Quest-inspired parody show called The Brave Yoshihiko and the Dragon Quest X tie-in manga, Rooming with a Gamer Gal. We'll start with Yoshihiko first. We gotta seal those monsters away.
In The Brave Yoshihiko Season 2, Episode 6, after our heroes make the great Buddha cry by criticizing him too much, he tells them to go to the Castle of Isis. There, the king is holding a fighting tournament with a special key as the grand prize. The treasure chest it opens is guarded by a strong monster, so he wants to make sure the strongest fighter gets the key. Yoshihiko enters the tournament, of course, and defeats a series of quirky foes, Nelson, Florukano, and Tashisun. He then faces Jackie Pion, a powerful fighter, in the finals. Jackie knocks out Yoshihiko right off the bat, then mysteriously, time stops for the four heroes. Meanwhile, Yoshihiko gets transported to a heavenly realm where he meets a cat-like old man who seems to be a great sage. The cat man kindly trains Yoshihiko to become a better fighter. When Yoshihiko awakens in the regular world, the fight ends abruptly, however. He has won not by fighting Pion, but because his friends moved Jackie Pion out of the ring while time was stopped. They quickly take the key to the treasure chest and defeat the green dragon guarding it. Despite the evil aura of the key, it doesn't end up being the key of evil spirits needed for their quest. The treasure chest, opened by the prize key, only contains an array of stamps that can be traded in for prizes.
So this is a fun little fighting tournament episode. The beginning bit with Buddha crying and him being satiated by the tablet was funny, especially his use of Buddha tunes to tell the team where to go next. And apparently Angry Birds is very universal. Going to the town of Isis surprised me in this episode. Since they used the Dragon Quest III reference of that town or castle, I was expecting a desert kingdom, but the show's Isis castle was very European, medieval style instead. I like the fighting tournament they set up. Lots of fun references too. If you look at the board of fighters in the episode, there are a couple of names from Dragon Quest VI, such as Terry and Carver. There's also a lot of Dragon Ball references. Jackie Pion is a reference to Master Roshi in his Jackie Chun disguise, which in of itself is a reference to Jackie Chan. Jackie Pion even asked for a good old puff from Murasaki, but gives up due to her supposed flatness. Then there is the Catman in Yoshihiko's vision, who is obviously Korin from Dragon Ball. In Dragon Ball, Korin is the god of martial arts. He trains Goku and gives him sacred water that makes him stronger. In this show, it's not so much training as goofing around, which was great to see what they came up with for that, and his version of the sacred water does absolutely nothing. At the end of this episode, I love that they fight a green dragon, and it looks pretty good for being a low-budget green dragon too. I didn't recognize exactly what the little bell stamps in the treasure chest were about, but we can guess from context clues that they're probably stamps you collect from products to turn in for prizes. You know, like Pepsi points, kids arcade games, or any other US company that's done something similar to that in the past.
Yeah, the stamps thing wasn't as funny as it could have been, but I'm sure that hits home more for Japanese viewers who would be accustomed to those particular stamps.
Oh, I'm sure. But wouldn't it be funny if it was like actual Pepsi points or something like that? Or Mountain Dew bottle point or bottle caps?
Yeah, I'd love that.
But of course, yeah, I'm sure that's very normal reference for the Japanese viewers out there.
Surely so. And this episode is introduced by a Dragon Quest ghost, a floating orange spirit that wears a purple hat. The ghost is an iconic monster that appeared in the very first Dragon Quest, but surprisingly didn't return until Dragon Quest V. The There are no ghosts in Dragon Quest XI either, and that's a real shame. Maybe that's why I haven't beaten that game yet. Now then, let's talk about wigs. When the party arrives at Isis Castle, they meet the king and his aide. They both have some interesting looks. The aide has huge puffy black hair and glasses. He wears a 19th century style coat and bow tie with mismatched floral pants. As for the king, he seems to be patterned after European medieval kings. Although the actor is surely Japanese, he has old-fashioned foppish brown hair, a beard, and mustache. The flamboyant wigs are the most memorable things about these two characters. Now let's have a quick rundown of the opponents faced by Yoshihiko in the tournament. Nelson, the first opponent, looks surprisingly cool with his yellow and white outfit and stylish hair. He could be a Final Fantasy character. Nelson's gimmick is that he tries to talk Yoshihiko out of fighting him by making increasingly silly boasts and threats. This causes Melub, who usually makes good judgments of people, to underestimate Nelson. Yoshihiko only wins because Nelson falls victim to his own zipper. Ouch. Then we have Borokano, the second opponent. He's a stereotypical high school thug, played by a guy in his 30s, who mistakes Yoshihiko for someone named Serizawa. This guy is full of obscure references. His name, pronounced Borokano in Japanese, is a play on the English word volcano. You know, they would say Volcano, and he's Borokano. It's not the actual Japanese word for volcano, however. That's Kazan. But there is actually a character named Borokano in the Japanese version of Dragon Quest VII. He's a fisherman in the starting village. Borokano's name was changed to Pollock in the English version of the game, so you would meet him right at the beginning. Borokano's dialogue is full of references to Crow's Zero, a live-action prequel movie to the Crow's manga, which was written by Hiroshi Takahashi. In the Crow's Zero movie, delinquent boys fight for control of the Suzuran all-boys high school. One of the two main faction leaders is named Serizawa. In the Brave Yoshihiko, Borokano mistakes Yoshihiko for Serizawa and threatens to beat him and take Suzuran for himself.
Okay, so that makes a lot more sense now. I was a little confused by all that. I figured it was a very specific reference, and it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works if you're familiar with, like, Japanese gang drama, you know, like high school gang drama, which American gamers might be familiar with because of River City Ransom and some of the sequels to that series. So yeah, it reminded me of that. But I'm glad I was able to figure most of that stuff out. I was hoping that Borokano would be a specific reference to Crows as well, his name, you know? But anyway, at least most of it makes sense now. And yeah, that was quite a research rabbit hole for me. Also, Borokano's fight features a fantastic joke involving a penguin. Might be my favorite joke in the episode. Tashi-sun is the third combatant. He's a skinny, wimpy guy who wears a sumo diaper. Tashi-sun is so weak that his pitiful slaps do nothing to Yoshihiko. Despite that, Yoshihiko almost throws the fight. Tashi-sun has a group of children watching him who carry pictures of their dead parents, and they cheer on their older brother during his fights. Is he really their brother, though? Thankfully, Yoshihiko defeats him and goes on to fight Jackie Pyun, whom you already described, Pendy. The way that Yoshihiko ends up winning the final battle is hilarious. Yoshihiko gets knocked out and time freezes for everyone but his party. During this time, they conveniently move Jackie Pyun out of the ring so that he loses by ring out. This reminds me of a game I used to have, John Madden Duo CD Football for the Turbo Duo. The game's selling point was that it had FMV videos that would play between downs, so you get little cinematics. Unlike regular Madden games, Duo CD Football was developed by Hudson in Japan. I bring this up because it had an amazing exploit that players could use to win against the CPU. During the scrimmage at the start of each play, players can walk across the line of scrimmage and move the opposing players around. They can't do anything about it. As long as the player crosses back over to the offensive side of the line before the snap, there won't be a penalty. Thus, you can create holes in the enemy's defense, and they are truly defenseless. Much like what happened to poor Jackie Pyun in the Brave Yoshihiko. That was quite a tangent. Finally, I like that we get to see the team fight the Green Dragon for a bit. The show often has them run into monsters and then it just cuts away. Here, the team withstands the dragon's fire breath, Yoshihiko strikes back, and the monster flickers and dies in authentic Dragon Quest fashion.
I appreciated that they showed the fight in this episode too, and I like how you often have a complaint that they'll just cut away from the fight and they won't really show how they won it. But in the next episode, they do have a cutaway where they show who they're going to fight and then they cut away, but at least you hear all like the nice Dragon Quest battle sounds and sound effects. I do like that they did that at least during that fight.
Oh, yeah.
So next we have Season 2, Episode 7. We start with our party facing some monsters in battle. After trouncing the party, the monsters use the transform spell to somewhat copy the hero's appearances and take off. Yoshihiko's party tracks down the fake party to Karana Village, a place that they saved in the first season. However, the fake party makes such a good impression with the village that the villagers believe Yoshihiko's party to be the frauds, so the heroes get thrown in jail. jail. Later on, a descendant of someone saved by Yoshihiko in the past finds Yoshihiko in jail and gives him directions to the next key. The fake heroes learn of this and force Yoshihiko to lead them to it. After fighting a series of monsters and a big boss, they attain the key. Yoshihiko is so pleased with the fake party that he decides to drop off Danjo, Melub, and Murasaki at Luida's bar and travel on with the monsters. He only changes his mind and goes back to his friends when the great Buddha reminds him that the monsters want to make more monsters with the key of evil spirits, not seal them away with it. They want to control the world with monster kind.
The episode is introduced by Robin Hood. As we mentioned before, he's a villain who was introduced in Dragon Quest III. In Japan, he's named Kandata after a character in a short story by Ryunosuke Akutagawa. Now, the episode begins with the heroes running into a party of 4 monsters: a blue Cyclops, a green Mirer, I hate that name, a skeleton soldier, and a blue-gray rock bomb. We've seen 3 of those Dragon Quest monsters before, but the skeleton warrior is new to the show. He's a member of the skeleton family who first appeared in the original Dragon Quest. The skeleton warrior originally wore a red tunic, but his tunic became green in Dragon Quest IV. In the show, it looks brown rather than green, but the skeleton warrior wears the telltale purple shirt and pants seen on the warrior in Dragon Quest VIII. As for the quality of the costume, the actor is wearing a long-sleeve shirt with knobby bones attached to the outside of the arms, which is suitable, but a little dinky looking. His head is a big, stylized skeleton mask that looks pretty good. Like, you definitely know this is a Dragon Quest skeleton. And I hope we see the skeleton warrior again soon. I say that because after quickly defeating the good guys, the 4 monsters change into their doppelganger forms. It's funny how little the actors themselves resemble the real heroes, even though they're wearing extremely similar costumes. Fake Melub has a particularly sinister face, and fake Yoshihiko has an older, salaryman-like face and a very soft voice. Fake Danjo is played by an actor who might be in his 40s and is thus younger than the real Danjo, whose hair is spiked up, unlike real Danjo, whose hair is combed back. Fake Murasaki isn't as petite as the real one, but she's still pretty and awfully kawaii, which I know Pendy loves. I guess there you go. I guess you detect some Mindini vibes from her. Early on, the fake party threatens to kill all the villagers after they get the monster's treasure, but by the end of the episode, they don't seem very evil at all. Yes, they want to help monster kind, but they're genuinely nice to Yoshihiko and just about everyone else. Fake Murasaki even gets upset and cries when she realizes that Yoshihiko isn't going to support the monster's plan. Like the young descendant of Yoshihiko that we saw in the Season 2 premiere, I wish they'd kept these characters around for longer. They didn't deserve to be killed, man. The monster that guards the treasure is presented in animated form, as the show often does. It looks sort of like a pink Anguirus from Godzilla, but without the back spikes. I wondered if the fake heroes would be drawn the same as the real heroes when the animation started. As it turns out, they are drawn to resemble the actors who play the fakes. So yes, they look slightly different. Then we have Luida's Bar, also known as Patty's Place, which looks like good fun in this episode. The benched party members get to sit around drinking all day in the colorful little bar while Yoshihiko goes out and works. That's not a bad deal. Anyway, this is one of my favorite episodes so far. The plot is clever and the jokes are super strong. I award it an S rank.
Yeah, I really love this episode. It's very heavy with Dragon Quest references and concepts that they use very well for all the jokes. For the first battle, I love hearing all the Dragon Quest battle noises as they cut away before they cut back to the almost defeated heroes. In this battle, the monsters cast Transform to copy the look of the real heroes, or at least somewhat copy the look of the real heroes. This spell is now known as Morph in modern English localizations. It first appeared as a spell that can be used in Dragon Quest III, but monsters were first seen using it in Dragon Quest IV. Specifically, the Float O Copier used it there. I've always loved seeing the spell in the games, especially in the remakes of 4. You got to see a detailed, full model of all the Dragon Quest IV heroes in the battle that way. Among the fake heroes, Murasaki's copy is played most for laughs with her over-exaggerated cuteness. It's very amusing. Plus, the fact that they are all much more competent heroes is hilarious. I also love how Dragon Quest tactics come into play here. That's the concept of telling your party members what to do, such as go all out or don't use MP. As I usually do in my playthroughs of Dragon Quest games, Yoshihiko loves using the follow orders tactic. After thoroughly enjoying this episode, it has gone down as one of my favorite episodes with how it ends. Unceremoniously dumping his real party members for the fakes at Luida's Bar is absolutely hilarious. For those who don't know, Luida's Bar is currently localized as Patty's Party Planning Place, first seen in Dragon Quest III, as Paul had previously mentioned. For some weird reason, I don't know why exactly, the actress Eriko Sato, who plays Luida, caught my attention. I looked her up, and she's had a long career of acting in Japanese TV shows and movies. She was also a gravure model at some point, and she caught my attention when I noticed that she played Honey in the live-action action Cutie Honey movie, written and directed by Hideaki Anno of Neon Genesis Evangelion fame. Like I said before, I love this episode, and it's one of my favorites in this series so far.
Wow, I didn't notice that it was her. Since you brought it up, I'm compelled to point out that Cutie Honey is a movie that starts out really strongly with a great opening action sequence and an awesome soundtrack, but it ends with a thud. First, they miscast Sister Jill, the main villain, by putting a guy in an ugly costume instead of making her a beautiful lady like she's supposed to be. Second, the dour third act is all wrong for Cutie Honey, and it just kills the flow of the film. Like, Cutie Honey is supposed to be lighthearted, and, maybe with some tense action, but definitely not all weepy and mopey. What a shame. And say, Shin Kamen Rider was directed by Hideaki Anno, and that's not very good either. What do those two films have in common?
Oh, damn. I guess he doesn't have a good reputation with live action movies, huh? And you know what's hilarious? I completely missed the bit at the end. The end credits started to play, so I skipped to the preview of the next episode. I even cheated and went to the beginning of the next episode and saw that everyone was back. I thought it was maybe like the beginning of the first episode of the season, where they get thrown to a previous save point against the Demon King with all their needed equipment, but it was resolved somehow off camera before the next episode. But no, a few seconds after the end credits play, the Buddha shows up and chides Yoshihiko for being so dumb. The whole sequence of the Buddha being so sarcastic and then Yoshihiko correcting his mistake without taking responsibility for it like he often does makes the episode even that much better. S-tier episode indeed. And thank God you caught that because, like I said, I totally missed it.
Right on. Oh, but in Anno's defense, a lot of people do like Shin Godzilla, which he also directed,
Oh, that's right. I do remember seeing that in his credits when I was looking that up.
I'm a fake Godzilla fan because I still haven't even seen that yet.
Oh, how dare you. Well, I haven't seen Cutie Honey or Kamen Rider, so...
You poor dude.
But I guess that's good that I didn't see those two. So,
well, I mean, the beginning of Cutie Honey is totally worth a watch. It's great, but just you could shut it off after that. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah, I saw the trailer for it just because I was curious. I was like, "Wow, this looks like a crazy movie."
Yeah, and all the fun stuff in the trailer is from the beginning.
Looked very campy but fun. But that's too bad that it kind of takes a plunge after the first part.
Yeah, and by the way, I still listen to the soundtrack now and then. I bought the Japanese CD way back in the day. It's quite good.
Nice.
Now then, we move on to Rooming with a Gamer Gal. In Server 51, an announcement for our team members. The chapter begins with the in-game wedding of Sasamaya and her husband in the wedding chapel the Heaven Slime Guild has set up for them. The ceremony goes off without a hitch, and everyone has a great time. This inspires Satsuki and Miyako to discuss telling the guild about their own upcoming wedding. They decide that Satsuki should tell someone he trusts in the guild because everyone likes his character Pao so much. Satsuki nervously tells As a result, Satsuki nervously tells Mario.
Sorry.
Yeah,
it's me, Miaro.
Bad thing about being a teacher, I get sleepy too early, man.
It's okay. Okay, you'll have to start over. Sorry.
All right. Satsuki nervously tells Mario about their upcoming wedding plans, his friend Mario. Mario is very excited about it and suggests that Pao and Goro do a Dragon Quest X wedding ceremony as well. Later, when Mario discusses the wedding plans with the other members of the guild, no one realizes that Goro is actually played by a girl. They believe that Goro's a guy, like Satsuki, convincing them that Satsuki is in a same-sex relationship with Goro. They call him brave for coming out this way and start to plan their Dragon Quest X wedding.
I should have seen it coming, but I did not realize the manga was going in this direction with the guild believing that Satsuki is coming out as gay. It's an absolutely adorable misunderstanding, and I'm looking forward to how it plays out. The Dragon Quest X wedding that is shown in the beginning of the server is great too. The image of the puppet and dwarf together is really cute. I'm sure what they show will be even more extensive when they show Goro and Pao getting married in the future. I can't wait to see how all this goes down.
I have to admit that I forgot exactly who Mario is, since we haven't seen him in a while. Thankfully, the next chapter will remind us in greater detail. Mario's character is one of Dragon Quest X's fish ladies, a wetling. Before that, we get to witness the nice in-game wedding that everyone seems to really enjoy. Then, Pao and Mario have a nice conversation between friends. And we end with a silly misunderstanding. Pao could totally have pointed out that Goro is actually Miyako, a girl, in fact, a hot girl, like especially for him, but it's funnier that he didn't mention it.
Next, we have Server 52, Unexpected Consequences. Here we see a mysterious man getting ready in the morning. It's later revealed to be Mario of the Heaven Slime Guild and good friend to Satsuki. He explains how he has graduated from his college and is now a responsible salaryman living on his own. He normally has no trouble making friends and talking to people regardless of gender, but with a lady named Shinoda, he has some difficulty because of the feelings he's started to develop towards her. They met in college and they often go on Dragon Quest X adventures together. Then we get to see Mario Mario reacting in real life to Satsuki telling him about his upcoming marriage plans. He assumes it is a same-sex relationship and admires Satsuki for his courage to open up about it. This gives him the courage to talk to Shinoda about what is implied to be Mario asking her out on a date or to be in a deeper relationship with him. We'll find out in the next server.
I love how this chapter reveals what was going on in real life for Mario during the conversation between Pao and Mario in the previous chapter. That's clever. For people who might have forgotten Mario and Shinoda, I believe that Shinoda is the girl who once asked Mario about how to get into Dragon Quest X so that she could play with a guy she liked.
Yep, that's her.
Hooray. Mario and Shinoda still play together. That's good. He continues to like her, but he's nervous that confessing will ruin their friendship. It's great that the silly misunderstanding about Pao being brave enough to marry Goro inspires Mario to give Shinoda a call.
This server had me going for a minute. I thought it was showing Satsuki getting ready in the morning until I got suspicious once they showed the necktie being put on. It was a fun little look into Mario's life, and I thought it was interesting how his misunderstanding of Satsuki's love life encouraged him to take it further with Shinoda. Some of this talk of being brave about coming out about being in a same-sex relationship may seem strange to some Western audiences. And while this manga started in 2014, we're probably around at least a 2017-2018 time frame since Dragon Quest XI recently came out in this manga's timeline. So not too long ago, but Japan is not as progressive about same-sex relationships as it is in other countries. Same-sex marriage is still not legal there, and the country as a whole is still a bit conservative compared to some others. So it does make sense that the concept of Pao and Goro openly coming out as gay, supposedly, could be seen as brave to the others in the guild. A fun server overall about Mario's life.
Next we come to server 53, Yamaki-kun and Shinoda-san. We continue to follow Mario as he asks Shinoda to hang out with him. They agree to meet in Osaka and go to a cafe together. There they discuss how Dragon Quest X was basically Shinoda's introduction to gaming in general. She's still an avid Dragon Quest X player, but tends to avoid real-life meetups with her guild. Despite that, she went to the recent Heaven Slime barbecue for Satsuki because Mario was there. Later on, they go to an electronics store, and Shinoda decides to pick up a Switch. Mario suggests that they could play Dragon Quest X together at her place, in real life. She seems a little hesitant about the idea, so Mario says he was only joking. However, she suggests they could go to his place to play Dragon Quest X together instead. That's even better. But Mario isn't crazy about doing that just yet, because his place is a mess at the moment.
This was a fun little chapter of Mario getting to know Shinoda more. I love the misunderstanding about what Mario was really asking to do with her. She assumes it was just a Dragon Quest X mission, but of course, he was trying to ask her out. His reaction to that is priceless. All the talk of her getting into gaming was adorable, especially how she accidentally broke a PSP game. Totally understandable. Those discs in their plastic cases were unique, and I can see how someone who has no idea about gaming could accidentally do that to one of those games. But he totally blew it at the end, though. How do you go on a date with someone and not make sure your room is in order beforehand? This kind of sort of happened with Satsuki in the past too. Maybe Mario also has some eroge or hentai just laying out in his room. I wonder how far this tangent of following Mario's love life will go in the manga. Maybe they're setting up a future double date with Satsuki and Miyako. That'd be fun.
You know, I wouldn't really call this outing a date, although the one dude obviously is interested in the other, but it's more like a friends get together that will lead to a date, I would say.
Yeah, you're right. That would be a more accurate description of what was going on. Because he was like, I want to ask her on a date, but yeah, I need to get to know her better, and we should just meet up and hang out and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, there you go. And I understand how Mario doesn't want Shinoda to visit his place at that exact moment, because as you said, he had no idea she'd suggest such a thing, so he didn't prepare his place.
You always got to prepare for the not the worst in this case, the best.
Now, for my part, I've had similar things happen, or I've run into girls that I liked at the store while I was wearing my pajamas and I felt kind of silly, etc. Some folks need time to prepare, darn it. Mario and Shinoda's story in these two chapters has been quite enjoyable, but it's also a break from the main plotline of Satsuki and Miyako's relationship. If you're anxious for Satsuki and Miyako to get married, or even to have a real mouth-to-mouth kiss for once, diversions like this serve to make the wait that much longer, man.
Oh yeah, they're gonna milk this for all it's worth before they actually get married, I'm assuming.
Seems that way.
But yes, let this be a lesson to you, fellas. Keep your place clean, just in case. Or at least keep all the naughty media that you have, put that somewhere safe. out in the open.
Words to live by. And with that, we wrap up this episode of Alltrades DQ Media Abbey. If you want to prepare for our next episode, be sure to watch Season 2, Episodes 8 and 9 of The Brave Yoshihiko, and read Chapters 54 to 56 of Rooming with the Gamer Gal. The Brave Yoshihiko is available with fan subs on the Internet Archive website, and Rooming with the Gamer Gal is available through the Manga Up app.
We're a non-profit podcast. We won't transform your hard-earned gold into something fake when we can offer you quality content for free. But if you do have some gold that's just completely burning a hole in your wallet, pouch, hanging wall sack, or treasure chest, and you would like to donate anything to a website that's been supporting Dragon Quest fans for over 25 years, stop by the Dragon's Den by clicking the link in the show notes. There are several ways to support the Den, including the affiliate links that don't cost you anything extra when making other Dragon Quest purchases, especially the upcoming Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake, everybody.
Show us that love, folks. Speaking of which, we have a cool Slime Time t-shirt and an even cooler Alltrades DQ Media Abbey shirt, both designed by our resident artist, Dwayne. And as of recently, we now have stickers!
Stickers!
See the links for all that fine stuff in the show notes.
As part of the Slime Time Extended Universe, or STU, you can direct comments or questions for the podcast on X, Blue Sky, and Instagram at DQ Slime Time.
And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EastXTwitch. Come watch me play a variety of games every Saturday, kids.
Join in tons of Dragon Quest discussion at the Dragon's Den forums and Discord, and the Dragon Questers and Slime Time Facebook groups, plus the new Dragon Questers Discord.
We'd like to thank everyone that made this podcast possible, including Woodus, the Dragon's Den, and Fake Yoshihiko's party. May they rest in peace and dream of a utopia for peaceful monsters.
No more cold noodles. I'm so sad.
Oh.
Please like, subscribe, and write a review for the podcast.
We'll catch you later, everybody. Don't hate, appreciate.
Time to zoom on out of here.
風がそよいでジャスミンが香る雲が流れてクジラが泳ぐよ芝生に寝転んで君は笑って夕日に染まるゆっくり眠くなる二人は永遠だと信じたいけどいつかは離れ離れにもなるでしょなんてね寂しいこと考えては本気で君を思うどこへも行かないよ君を傷つけるものを私が全部消してあげるどこへも行かないよ君が嬉しいと思うことこの手でたくさん集めてあげる愛してる何も話さない静けさもいい飛行機の音が遠くへ伸びてゆく言葉にするとふわり空気のようにどうして
This is Gertrude for Slime Time, reminding you all that you must complete your adventure.